それが淘汰なんて大きな危機であれば、これはなかなか冒険者冥利に尽きる機会と言ってもいいだろう。
笑えない。
すまない。
じゃあ私も納得するしかないじゃない。
そう不安になるもんじゃないさ。これでもそこ
でも帰ったら一日のネネタイムを要求するっ
す。わかった。ネネタイム？
愛されとるね。仲良しやわ。
これも勇者の素養じゃな。
All right, my friends. So I think this might have been one of the best episodes of A Rank Party in a while. I think we can finally call the Twilight, the Anacratic Darkness, Aberratic Darkness, whatever it was called. I think we definitely kind of put a close to the chapter there. I felt pretty fulfilled. At the end of the episode, we found out that 𝐜𝐴 was actually whatever her name is, her dad probably, because he said that, oh, I'm gonna go rejoin with Freya, and Freya was Nibirune's mother. So he's like, oh, I'm gonna go rejoin myself. Like that's gonna be my happiness. He's like, my wish was for your happiness and take on what we couldn't and stuff like that. So I felt pretty good about that ending. The whole party was able to take on the king, which I thought was really cool. And in a very explosion fashion, Rain was able to conduct what did they call it? I was like chapter 7, that doesn't sound right. Level 7 magic, level 7, magic, which was really cool. It drained her, but it was a really, really awesome thing to the fact that like Yuke had to use like a bunch of scrolls and a bunch of different power, and Silk had to use the Undine's power, and basically they had to do a bunch of stuff that way that they could block the fire because she caused an explosion. I thought that was pretty cool. And then Yuke had to use Persephone's power to kind of like basically kill the ring that was trying to regenerate the king once again. I thought that was cool. And I even like the dialogue that Yuke had with Marona and with the big shield guy. I think his name was like Lucas or something like that. And he was like, oh, we're going to get a drink later. So I felt really good. And I enjoyed seeing kind of the end of that fight. And they took on the other guys too from last episode. We saw some technical fan service and stuff. And overall, it was really good. And then when all the girls had to say bye to Yuke, they had like a four-way thing there. And then Nene was on the outside, and she was like, later on, you got to give me some Nene time. And Yuke's like, what the heck is Nene time? So I enjoyed all of that. I laughed. I laughed at a couple different moments. I thought the fight between them and the king was really, really good. And then at the end of it, when Rune and, the gold goddess or whatever they called her, when Rune and Yuke, kind of did their final spell, and Yuke had the flashback for the dude that, betrayed him or whatever. And he's like, I can finally put you to rest because the world's going to be ending here. I thought that was all like really, really good stuff. So I really enjoyed it quite a bit. And I'm glad that this arc is finally done now with the Aberratic Darkness, Anaratic Darkness, whatever the fuck it's called. I really enjoyed that that's over now, because this has been one of my least favorite arcs, because I think going back to my feedback from the last few episodes is I think the anime excels the most when it's just focused on Yuke and the girls getting closer and taking on adventures together. Not this big, like, bombastic adventure where the plot shifts to nothing but what they're trying to take on, because it doesn't really do that really well. But just when they're taking on smaller adventures and getting closer, and there's like a little twinge of romance between Yuke and Rain, and then between Yuke and Silk, and then between you and Marina, and then eventually between Yuke and Nene and Jamie, and now we're gonna have Rune in the mix too. So I definitely love that portion of the show. I think that's when it has comedy. That's when it begins to be funny and more enjoyable. But the actual story isn't that great. But overall, I definitely want to give this one its flowers, because Persephone was mentioned a lot. I think she's the most interesting character of the show for sure. Outside of our main character, she's the most interesting thing outside of that. And I like the end of it, and I like the 𝐒𝐴 end, and I liked the episode, and I liked that we're buttoning it up pretty early, which gives me faith that there's going to be more hype stuff to come, that there's going to be more of what I enjoy about this show to come, considering that this was episode number 15, And we have 24 episodes. So technically we have like 9 more episodes left of the show. So they now have the chance to get back to what the first, handful of episodes, like the first 9, 8, 9 episodes, like when it was showing us like what I really liked. We now have that chance. The only thing that might throw a wrench in it is, Yuke was still, the hero, and he's gonna have even more accolades now. So we'll see what ends up happening with that. But I definitely enjoyed what they gave us. So overall, this episode was like an 8 out of 10 for me. I really enjoyed it quite a bit. And I think, it all came and was buttoned up quite nicely. All right, friends, I'm going to leave you guys on those thoughts. I'll see you guys next week for episode number 16 for I Left My A Rank Party. All right? You be good. I'll see you next weekend. Peace.